How do you deal with reader's block? That's the topic I'm addressing today in The Right Question. I'm Daphne Gray Grant, the publication coach, still in pandemic mode. I have a question from Julie Roberts, a writer based in Austin, Texas. Here's what she's asked by email. I know you address the question of writer's block quite frequently, but I wonder if you've ever heard of reader's block. I never read more than a couple of books a year, but I can't even manage that relatively low level these days. Do you have any suggestions for me? Thanks for your question, Julie. I've addressed the topic before, and I include a link to that video in the show notes below. But I've never confessed my own two experiences with reader's block. Let me share them with you now. I hope they'll give you some comfort and maybe even some guidance. I've been an inveterate reader for most of my life. When I was young, I always had a book on the corner of my desk at school. As soon as I had my assigned work done, I'd go back to reading. Fortunately, my teachers were wise enough to encourage this habit. At home, I'd start reading early in the day. If the newspaper wasn't handy, I'd scan the back of the cereal box at breakfast. I live in bilingual Canada, so sometimes that meant reading the ingredients list in French, a language I didn't even speak. University interfered with my book reading a little, mainly because I did my degree in political science and I had a lot of journal articles to go through. But as soon as I graduated, I returned to reading novels and nonfiction books with a vengeance. This happy reading habit ground to a halt, however, after I gave birth to triplets. For the first 5 years, I barely had time to shower, never mind to read. Of course, we made time to read to the kids, and we managed to get through most of Harry Potter before they hit the age of 12. That's when their diverging interests, music versus sports versus friends, caused them to stop being interested in listening to the same book. You didn't include any of your own biographical detail, Julie, but if you're the mother of young children, understand that it's perfectly normal not to have enough time for your own reading. And don't blame yourself for this, just like I don't blame myself for not being 5'10", even though that would make it a lot easier for me to reach the higher shelves than the kitchen. Being the mother of young children is a type of reader's block. But guess what? It's time limited. They won't be young forever. I encountered my second battle with reader's block in 2002 after I had a stroke. I was 45 years old at the time, way too young for a stroke, and I had no risk factors either. In fact, my blood pressure is so low, doctors frequently tell me to eat more salt. Anyway, a stroke is a brain injury, and I found it not only left me completely exhausted, but also totally uninterested in reading. For perhaps the longest time in my adult life, maybe 6 months, I didn't read a single book. The reader's block finally ended when my husband and I went away for a quiet weekend, and I brought the book White Oleander by Fitch with me. It was raining, and I found the book engaging enough that I finished it that weekend. To me, the big secret to beating reader's block is to have a book that really engages you. Don't prejudge yourself. Don't think that thrillers or sci-fi or romance novels aren't good enough. The main thing is to read. You can expand to other genres later. Finally, let me wrap up with a quote from the late Harper Lee, author of To Kill a Mockingbird. "Until I feared I would lose it, I never loved to read. One does not love breathing." Julie, over the years, I have had so much pleasure from reading, and I know my habit has made me a better writer. The fact that you recognize you have reader's block and that you're willing to ask a question about it shows that you have the motivation to address this issue. Happy reading. If you'd like to learn more about how to make writing a happier, more rewarding process, check out my latest book, Your Happy First Draft. It's not available in bookstores or on Amazon. The only place you can get it is my website. Link below and in the show notes.